What are you doing?
What does it look like?
Looks like you're setting up some kind of skit for a commentary video.
Whoa, that's not part of the script I gave you.
Dude, just get to the video. We can't act for shit. Okay, what's up guys? My name is Asmogan, and today I want to talk about a gaming genre near and dear to my heart, despite how much I suck at it. You could say that again. You have the micromanaging skill of a microwave McNugget. Credit to Ludus Infinium for that one.
We're talking about RTSs.
Ah, the real-time strategy genre. An unfortunately lacking game type as of late, but we'll get into that. For those that do not know, real-time strategies, or RTS for short, are a type of strategy game where you and the opposing teams actively participate simultaneously as opposed to turn-based strategy. But enough insulting your intelligence, let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? The reason I'm making this video is that I really want to express my love for a genre I sadly see being cast to the wayside. I don't want people, and prospective developers, to forget about and continue to neglect a genre which widely helped popularize gaming as a form of entertainment, but also laid the groundwork for numerous popular franchises which would spawn from them. The biggest example being World of Warcraft, a game which would not have existed if not for its RTS predecessors. So sit back folks, and let's get started into breaking down just what exactly makes RTSs great, and perhaps give you all a new games wish list that isn't made up of the latest half-baked AAA games that need more patches than a Louisiana redneck's jeans. I'm looking at you, Fallout 76, I'm looking at you, Cyberpunk 2077, and you bet your ass I didn't miss you, Warcraft 3 Reforged. I mean, seriously, how in the hell do you ruin one of the greatest video games of all time? Well, anyway, back on track. By far one of the biggest draws of any good RTS is the player agency. RTSs are debatably the ultimate form of this in all of gaming, except maybe city builder games, as you, the player, are the key determining factor in the events that play out, and in a far more overarching manner than that of, let's say, an FPS or an MMORPG. And before you all get the pitchforks and torches, just hear me out first. Let's look at Half-Life, for example. Gordon Freeman is a character thrust into the depths of chaos and confusion as Black Mesa is besieged by numerous forces all vying for control. He, a lone nerd, must beat the odds and save humanity from the burgeoning threat of the aliens. Gordon is definitely a significant piece on the proverbial chessboard, but in the end he is still just that single piece. Instead of playing as an independent rook, wouldn't you want to control your whole side of the board? Now, don't get me wrong. I love Gordon, and I love FPSs as a whole, but where they always seem to come up short, at least comparatively, is player control and scale. Gordon and all the rest of the FPS greats are individuals thrust into challenges which, yes, are indeed seemingly insurmountable, but they are, at the end of the day, scaled to be accomplishable by the single individual. In RTSs, on the other hand, you do not enter the shoes of a lone combatant on a linear lone wolf journey to destroy the bad guys. No. Instead, you take control of entire armies which work towards the goal you assign them. If you are stepping into a single man's shoes, it's that of a military commander or general. You, as your army's leader, have complete control over far more than just a single soldier. And as such, the scale of the game massively increases. You control entire squads of soldiers, their supplies, equipment, upgrades, and tactics. Let's use an amazing RTS, StarCraft 2, as an example here. In StarCraft 2, you have 3 factions you take the reins of. No matter which you as the player are granted control of, your forces will not typically act independently unless it is to defend themselves. So you must instruct your base workers to collect resources, which you will need to construct new buildings. These buildings serve a variety of roles, not least of which being to train units for combat against your opponents. Additionally, once combat units are trained, you control what they attack and where they move. And those are just a few of many micro decisions you'll have to make on the fly as you vie for dominance. The game gives you control over so much and only restricts you in sensible ways, such as resources or specified technological knowledge that your army possesses. Though some may say, that sounds too stressful, I don't like having to micromanage or calculate so much. To that, I will simply say, that is the price of agency and control. With control comes additional responsibility, and of course, difficulty. But I would wager that's yet another draw of the RTS. RTSs are very focus intensive, and thus actively engage the players far more than other video games. Whereas games like Guild Wars or World of Warcraft intentionally enrapture players during raids and dungeons, there are still plenty of moments players engage in the gaming equivalent of autopilot, players just passively playing the game while performing grinding repetitive tasks. There have been many times while playing such games, I've put on an audiobook or YouTube video which I could focus on more than the game and not really suffer any major performance issues on my part as the player. RTSs, on the other hand, do not give you the excessive breathing room to divide your attention between the game and another activity. Every single moment counts during an RTS. Every decision significant, no matter how seemingly minor. In StarCraft, your choice of army composition is as significant as your choice of upgrades and the amount of resource gathering units you have collecting minerals and Vespene. In Dawn of War, your speed and efficiency with capturing nodes is as important as your squad's upgrades and structure build order. In Command & Conquer, shit, what decision isn't fucking immensely important in Command & Conquer? Well, anyway, you get the idea. Now, some may say that RTSs or strategy games as a whole are too focus intensive. But to that, I'll say this. Isn't the point of a video game or activity to engage you, to actively demand your attention and reward you for that intention with an amazing experience which allows time to fly by at blazing speeds? I would say that is entirely the idea with games as an entertainment medium. Now, that's not to say a game you can play passively while listening or watching something else isn't welcome or shouldn't be a thing, but I do believe that should not be the goal of most game developers. Because if that is your goal, just know you're making an overzealous and expensive slinky or fidget spinner. The power fantasy in the RTS genre is absolutely a massive draw for many people, and before I get too much into it, I will say that this one needs no comparison to other genres in gaming. Whereas player agency and engagement are most certainly comparable to other genres, I don't think the power fantasy in RTSs is. You could absolutely do that if you wish, but it'd be like comparing a nice juicy steak to a PB&J sandwich, or a nice whiskey to a wine cooler. They can be compared, but it doesn't make sense to, as they are two separate things that cater to two separate moods or cravings. The power fantasy in the RTS is that of being a leader, a commander for your faction leading your men to victory or failure. They rely on you to make the right call at the right time, and you must actively factor in every variable you and your army are accosted by. It's a power fantasy unmatched in gaming, and one that keeps players coming back again and again and again. It had people coming back to Warcraft 3 continually for nearly 18 years, it has people coming back to Dawn of War to this day, and it has people going back to Age of Empires 2. As you could probably guess from this video, my favorite genre of video games is real-time strategy. I've loved the genre for as long as I can remember, for the reasons I've already stated and more. However, these days, it feels as though the genre is being disregarded by the major AAA companies that once propagated these titles. Blizzard most notably for me. The oddest part is how RTSs don't fit the standard bill for gaming genres that are no longer catered to or developed in the industry. In fact, if you break it down to the usual questions of a failing game style, you can easily debunk most of the standard reasons. Question number 1, is the genre no longer popular? The sales and hype for remasters like Age of Empires 2 and the fact that thousands of people continually played Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2 since both came out indicates otherwise. Question number 2, is it not worth the effort from a financial standpoint? Well, considering how even after StarCraft 2 went free to play, it still continued to accrue money for its story campaigns and cosmetic microtransactions, I'd have to say that that also doesn't track. And question number 3, are they too complex to develop? Not having made an RTS myself, I can't speak with certainty. However, I will say that it doesn't seem like it would be all that extra effort to develop in comparison to other games, though this is the closest one to being the potential explanation. Whatever the reason, it seems we won't be seeing a high-quality RTS coming out from the heavy hitters of the industry anytime soon. So what do we do for now, I hear you ask? Well, thankfully, RTSs have found a home in the indie market as of late, and there have been some decent ones amongst the throng, though certainly none that live up to the greats of old. Hopefully one day we'll see a resurgence of new RTS titles, but for right now, you've still got said greats. Here's a list on screen of ones I highly recommend everyone play at least once. Trust me, you'll only be doing yourself a favor. well, that's it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like down below. And if you want more content like this, please subscribe. I will love to have you guys on all future videos. Anyway, catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.